still sticks its head up above the rest and shows that it is the clear #1 AD carry. Jhin has more weaknesses. You cannot push your opponents in as well as something like a Varus. You have to hit around the people with your ultimate. You can't just shoot through everyone like Varus can. So there are certainly some weaknesses there. I think past Varus, it's a lot up to just personal preference and what you're comfortable with.
Well, we'll see Echo Fox have finished their bans. Actually, Cassiopeia, Malzahar, and Ryze. So 3 mages, 2 mid lanes, and a support. And there's a LeBlanc ban for Cloud9. So the pool's already going to get shorter. Now, granted, mid lane had some of the deepest available picks in the previous metagames, but we could see, some of these newer mid picks start to come out as well.
And you touched on it, the fact that Froggen, he has his own little meta, right? He loves the Anivia, he loves the TF, so banning out these more standard picks in the mid lane does not affect him as much as it might others. But Jensen too, he's played Echo, he's played Fizz, he can play a lot of Assassins, Zed. There's a lot of things that are still available for both of these teams. And Rengar is little interesting to me because it is still being prioritized quite highly. Katie has been great on it, so that makes sense, but I'm not sure that it demands a pick anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the strong Rengar players. Arcadia and Dardoch come to mind that are playing Rengar. We see Xmithy continually picking it up, which does not feel like a champion that really suits his style. It's a good first pick for Echo Fox. Jace ban by Cloud9 means that they'll get 2 picks after this Rengar, but pretty obvious that they're taking Graves. This is the trade Cloud9 should be happy with.
I think Shen here would be really big. Shen has been rising in priority so much, and it's relatively okay as a blind pick. I've been seeing that get banned out almost non-stop now, with a lot of the other top champions getting nerfed, like Maokai getting hits. He's not clear S tier anymore, but they are wanting to lock in that AD carry for Sneaky, and he's known for his Jhin.
Yeah, I mean, Sneaky's Jhin is excellent. Jhin's still a strong pick, particularly with Varus eating bans almost every single game, particularly on the red side. Echo Fox, we'll see what they have to answer with here. I think Shen is certainly a good champion in general, and especially for Impact. The one thing seems to be, I don't want to get gangplanked.
Yeah, that's certainly fair, and I think that the lane matchup can be problematic, but it's also a little bit worrisome if Echo Fox is happy to play Shen. The Shen-Rengar combo is extremely powerful, and you are giving that up if you don't take it in the first round. So this is one of the concerns I had about Cloud9 not taking it in that first kind of selection there, is you're giving over so much power. You've now given basically the comfort pick for Acadian, which is also a strong jungler, as well as 2 enablers. You have Shen, and you have Karma to speed you up and shield you.
Well, we've got Shen and Karma there for Echo Fox, so we'll have a mismatch for these first 6 picks. And just to note that despite Arcadian's aggression, he actually hasn't played Rengar yet in the LCS. So again, the new player has looked very impressive on the aggressive champions. We'll see how he does on the Rengar here.
I mean, he played it in Challenger. He was known as essentially a Rengar one-trick once upon a time. He obviously plays a lot of champions now, so I'm certainly confident in his ability to play it. And it's also because he does get banned. Have it banned against him a fair bit too, so that's something to keep in mind. But Thresh for Smoothie, and he's been moving more and more towards the playmaking type champions, and this is a pretty exciting trend.
Yeah, I like it here. Smoothie, definitely a big voice for the team. Always good to have a champion that can kind of make you proactive and let you make plays for the team. But Ezreal banned hit for Cloud9 with the mismatches in the first phase means we are going to get some target bans here, and we'll see what Echo Fox decide to pick on, if they even want to go after a lane.
Yeah, I think you might want to ban out some of the counter picks towards Shen or target Jensen a little bit in the mid lane. I also think for Cloud9, taking another AD off the table here could be smart. You can look to thin out some of the other options, like the Anivia, but also taking Ashe off the table, that is kind of what I was thinking they would go for. Makes a lot of sense here because Varus, Ashe, Ezreal, all off the table, Jhin taken by Sneaky. That does put Keith a fair bit down in priority, although I think champions like Caitlyn still have their merit.
Sin Sivir as well, so we're starting to see, especially into Jhin, we're starting to see some of these champions. That's true. They also banned Syndra on the Echo Fox side, so 2 mid lane bans mean that Gangplank, if Impact wants to play, is available here. I imagine they're giving Jensen the counter pick here, particularly because Froggen has such a wide range of champions he's willing to play on the LCS stage, but definitely a lot of considerations, and this has been another top lane pick that's sneaking up in priority. Impact, he's going to take Renekton.
I think it makes a lot of sense, especially because they already have the Graves. They don't want to play a no-tank composition. So with Renekton, you get a little bit of both. You get the lane bully, and you also can very easily transition into these more tanky roles into the late game.
He's having a bit of fun with the crowd. We'll see what he settles on as far as his pick goes. AD carry mid lane still to come for Echo Fox.
I'm expecting Sivir, probably. I mean, I think Sivir Karma just makes a lot of sense, and I think that the Spell Shield as well into a Thresh, if used well, can be quite helpful. That said, C9 obviously knows that Sivir is available, and Sivir is shorter range. It's harder sometimes to enter the fights. You put yourself at a pretty high risk. Thing with Sivir against Graves as well, Graves can tend to struggle against AD carries later in the game because they outrange him. Sivir does not really have the same kind of advantage that like a Caitlyn or something like that would.
No, and we'll see what Froggen has here. We saw the Anivia hover, but might be going to Ari. Wow. Will in fact take it up here. And important note that I think Jensen's making effectively an 8th pick mid laner, given how this draft has gone. That's how many different mid laners have been picked or banned.
Yeah, and he does. The funny thing is, he still has Zed on the table, which has been first picked and stuff by some teams. That's very high priority. Mid lane champion pool is just pretty deep.
Yep.
Orianna, Zed, Fizz. There's lots of champions that are still available and quite powerful.
Looks like Jensen might just take the simple one here and go for Orianna. So Ari vs Ari, this is a real classic matchup, but Jensen should feel pretty comfortable here. Just again, kind of taking the standard pick, particularly for an opening game. You don't want to do anything too crazy in draft.
No, you certainly don't, and both these teams have, I think, quite strong overall compositions. The Ari can be somewhat hit or miss. It's a champion that I think, similar to LeBlanc, has more of a requirement to start snowballing, although I do think that Ari's team fighting in general is stronger baseline than something like LeBlanc, so it's not as much of a requirement, even though you certainly do want to get rolling and try to roam around the map and extend your advantage up the lanes.
Kind of curious to see how it all shuffled out. Of course, we'll be looking at the junglers. Like Arcadian and Contracts have big impacts for their team and almost always are required to get a lot of work done in the early game. The jungle pool was pretty much left, in fact, it was left untouched, just double checking back with the bans. So they both took whatever the jungler they wanted. Arcadian decides he wants Rengar over Graves, but those two champions feel very close in power to me.
Yeah, they really do, and I think that Cloud9 is going to have to play very carefully around the certain power spikes. When the ultimates become available for Echo Fox, you could look for 5-man dives in the bot lane with Rengar, with Shen, with Ari roaming down. These are things that are very scary for them to deal with. So I think that while they have a lot of power in the first few levels, they have to be careful around those level 6 ultimates.
And I think Shen is an interesting pick that you highlighted early in the draft where Cloud9 kind of effectively just gave it away. They could have taken it. There were some risks associated with the pick, but Shen is a top laner that does something that no other top laner does, which is have global presence, in addition to being a standard top lane threat, a tank, and a split pusher that can manage your side waves. So I agree with you. I think he's a very high priority pick. We'll see if the mismatch, as far as ability, affects top lane at all. But we are under Summoner's Rift for our first game of this fine Saturday. Echo Fox versus Cloud9.
And the other thing is just really about the combination with the Rengar, right? The submarine play, as you want to call it, with that Shen ulting on an ulted Rengar who's getting sped up by Sivir, by Karma. That's very frightening. The amount of dive that you can have is pretty powerful there. So Cloud9 certainly going to have to be afraid. But that said, I think that before level 6, Impact should be able to bully top lane. I think that Contract should have the advantage in the early levels in the jungle. And both the teams are going to have to play well around that.
Well, we'll see what happens here. Level 1, nothing particularly crazy happening. Everyone just camping their various brushes, making sure all the neutral spots are checked. It's nice to see Impact rocking. Very appropriate skin choice for himself. Like Arcadian and Contracts just hanging out. Arcadian's busy in the brush, spots a ward, gives it a tap. And if it wasn't obvious already, C9 have a good idea of what side Arcadian's currently on. Might be going down towards the bottom side though, so gonna mix it up just a little here.
I love how we have the Samsung skin going up against the SKT skin.
Topical, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like a couple months too late.
Yeah. Close enough.
Or years, I guess, if you're dating the skins to when they were originally.
No, we're not doing that.
Okay.
It still counts. All right, so Arcadian going to be starting here. And I think that this, while this Raptor start is okay and it can work pretty well, I think you really only should be doing it if you have some sort of an AoE leash. And in this case, the Ari can help out quite a bit with that. With Impact, he's going to start Q and he's going to walk into the pit and he's going to use that to help leash. If you can't actually get a lot of damage down on the little Raptors there, you take way too much damage from that first camp as pretty much anyone other than Graves.
Yeah, and you can see Contract's very healthy. Arcadian taking a little more damage as checking with the mid lane. Jensen already getting aggressive, moving that ball on top of Froggen wherever he finds appropriate. And of course, Orianna's auto attack's always good. She's just such a solid, safe mid laner.
She really is, and she has a lot of late game power. So the fact that you do have wave clear, you have safety, allows you to actually just kind of scale up oftentimes to those stages where you can start to take over, and that's often at the 3-item threshold that people love to talk about with Orianna.
Well, we'll see what Froggen can get done here on RA, champion that's kind of rising back into the meta game. So curious to see how Impact does in that top lane. We mentioned the Impact in week 5, the last time we saw him play, was subbed out actually in their series, and they still lost with Ray coming in for the final game. So Impact has definitely not been feeling like himself. Renekton is a champion where he can kind of put on his carry pants and really show off on. And Lupa should struggle a bit in the early lane.
Yeah, I would certainly expect to. One of the great things about Shen, though, is how strong your last hitting is under turret. So you can get pushed in, and unlike Maokai or whatever, you pretty much shouldn't miss any of the last hits. You can pretty much get everything there as the Shen, which is very strong. And you know, much like I would say we gave Bjergsen a bit of a break for some weak early performances, I would give the same benefit of the doubt to Impact. You know, he had one rough week, but that's essentially the first bad performances it has felt like he has had since playoffs last year.
Yep.
So, you know, you certainly can't expect this guy to show up and not perform well just because of a couple bad games.
See Jensen starting to bully Froggen out of that lane. We'll see if the CS lead builds up at all. Meanwhile, Acadian actually wrapping around that top side, although Contracts is down. Going to blast cone his way over, looking for something here in the bottom lane. Perhaps right now it's just going to take the Krugs away.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit worrying for Impact, though, as he's pretty far up. And Contracts is even getting tracked on that camp. So now they know where the jungler is. Acadian has the ability to go in here. We'll see how Impact can play. If he uses his slice to go forward, he would be in trouble. But knowing that Contract is down there on the Krugs, he can assume that Acadian is mirroring him on the top side.
Yep, red ping there for Cloud9, so I have a very good idea of what Acadian is up to. Impact going to play patient, let the wave push back in. Taunt missed there from Lupa.
I think he shortchanged that one.
Yeah.
You actually can do less than the maximum range on a taunt. So if you put your mouse just barely in front of your character, you actually just move like a centimeter.
It's not ideal.
No, it's certainly not ideal.
Acadian in the meantime will just continue counter jungling. But it looks like Contracts is doing the same. Did take the Krugs away. Did get spotted by the duo lane of Echo Fox, but again, we'll just have a bit of vertical jungling for now. Contract should safely be able to take these.
And this is pretty smart that he actually didn't back out because they're assuming Acadian is topside. As long as his lane pushes in the opponent's bot lane, they can't afford to actually come and try to stop this counter jungling, right? They just have to say, you know what, we know he's there, but we can't do anything about it because they will lose too much in the bot lane.
Same story there for Acadian. Goes by his Raptors and probably already knew they were gone, so instead he'll just see what he can get. Unfortunately for him, the bad news is that he's only got a wolf camp up, so he's going to hit the recall button and get a first buy-in. Looks like Contracts will do the same. As Keith and Gate will check in with them for the first time, getting pushed in a little by Sneaky and Smoothie. Sneaky has a very slight CS lead.
And you wouldn't really expect the Sivir Karma to get pushed in, but sometimes that can be the implied pressure of the Thresh. Although the Thresh does not help to push the lane like a Karma does, the threat of getting hooked can make you play very scared. And they're not actually standing up autoing because Smoothie is up ahead zoning, and they are frightened of that Thresh all in. So they have to respect it. That is actually what is allowing them.
Very nice from Smoothie. Now going to try and get damage in there. Flayback is getting some poking onto Keith, and pretty much what you were talking about.
That's exactly it, right? They should be able to have the push, but because they are scared of the Thresh, they're not confident that they could dodge it or spell shield it or whatever, they have to show the respect, and that allows Smoothie to maintain bush control and give them a winning lane that they really don't have the pushing power to win.
Jin is one of those champions as well that can kind of complete an all-in from a screen away.
Yep.
So you have to be careful of all that poke coming out. Impact in the meantime, Ding's level 6, shoves that wave in, but Loop has got his ultimate ready as well, and so we'll just have the early backs and then teleports to lane. We'll see if Impact wants to waste their TP, because he is going to be behind a global, with Shen, of course, having access to Stand United as well.
And the advantage of shoving in your opponent like that is you don't actually have the TP, right? You get there in time to pick up the wave, so that is what Shen is facing. He almost certainly will have to expend his TP, because when he gets back, he shoves it in. Impact will be able to get it to his turret before he can return. So that's kind of the trade-off there. That's the advantage that Impact has gained from the push.
Contracts has been slotted, but doesn't see his Krug camp.
He saw it now, because that one popped out of the bush. It's like little popcorns.
Impact's going to make sure he chases out Arcadian, puts down a control ward in the top tri-buff there, and does manage to walk all the way back to lane.
And key to note, this is a level 6 Rengar now, and Shen will be basing very likely at level 6, so bot lane will have to be extremely careful now. You know how Smoothie and Sneaky were posturing aggressively, bullying the bot lane through doing that? They now have to think twice about doing that, because great, Smoothie goes up in that second bush, well, they just pop Sivir ult and Shen comes in and you die.
Yeah, Arcadian 6 as well, so that threat of the Rengar Shen is now on the table for Echo Fox, and Froggen, despite getting bullied, only 10 seconds behind.
There go.
Looking in for mid lane, Froggen needs to hit the charm flash from Jensen, dodges the skill shot, and now Arcadian's in! First blood anyway for Arcadian
The TV's coming in though, they're trying to turn it around.
Gonna try and make something happen, Arcadian is low, but Impact a little late.
Nice play from Echo Fox. They immediately execute on those ultimates. We talked about it in the pregame. C9 not showing enough respect to it. Jensen dodged the charm, but he's pushing up in lane with Rengar ult available, with Shen ult available, and they didn't even have to hit the charm to make that one work.
Yep, just went straight for the divers. I'll watch it again.
Yeah, and Jensen, he flashes early, but he has the ghost, so he is able to dodge it out. It doesn't actually matter that he's under the turret there because the Shen ult is able to come in and keep Acadian alive. So well executed there from Echo Fox.
Impact instead will just get some advantage on the wave, but Lupo managed to get there pretty quickly.
And I mean, Impact TP'd, right? So this is still global advantage now for Looper. Looper has his TP, Impact does not. So you trade the Shen ultimate for the TP. Now you have this big window where bot lane has to play scared still, and you don't even have to commit anything to help that out. Sivir and Karma should be able to shove you in simply because if the Thresh and the Jhin go aggressive, Shen TPs, you die.
Yep, you can see Sneaky just playing back. Gonna get these minions out from under the turret. Smoothie did walk through Echo Fox's red side jungle and get some vision down, so they'll have knowledge of where Rengar is, but like you said, Lupa can join at any time.
But even just having that knowledge is extremely important because Rengar, he's able to circumvent a lot of those wards, obviously, once he pops his ultimate. So you need to have deep wards. You need to be able to move around and manipulate the wave properly, knowing where he could be on the map. So the fact that they know now he's fully out of that bot side jungle, they have a little bit more confidence to play.
Vincent also has 2 control wards on his right-hand side, so wanting to play a little safer, he'll probably be hugging the side of the lane for the next few minutes, especially without summoners. Impact in the meantime takes some honey for it, and now Keith getting chunked. Good spell shield, but Smoothie flashes in. Fox is down. But here comes Lupa. Gate gonna flash in to make sure he gets locked down, and Sneaky just can't do much else. Impact cancels it though. Another turnout round. Keith gets hooked in. Sneaky just letting loose with the ultimate, and they need to just do a little bit more. The heal is down. Sneaky still running through as the W barely misses Gate, but a flash order is gonna get Sneaky a kill.
Big plays from C9. Impact critically stopping that Shen teleport is what allows them to execute this 2v2 kill. That is huge for C9.
I wonder what happened to Luke because Impact will have his
Orianna.
Flash. Looking for it again. Jensen, oh, that's so much damage. Chop lands from Froggen! And there's the kill for the mid lane.
This time the charm comes in. No Shen ultimate needed. And Echo Fox is executing so well on their ultimate timings. Way too many teams are not proactive with these ultimates, not making things happen. They do it again, they take down Jensen, and Looper has his Shen ultimate up now, so they can look to repeat once more.
Really smart stuff. Acadian seems like he might be back in business, but his Impact just walked straight up and canceled it.
Yeah, and that was so critical that Impact was able to stop that. That would have been Smoothie going down for sure, and Sneaky perhaps as well. At least his summoner is blown. Instead, they are able to get the kill, the 2v2 outplay.
Really nice all in from Cloud9's duo, and Impact, after the good job cancelling the TP, he's going to move his way in, take out the next minion wave, as Lupa does have to walk himself back to lane. You can see that CS lead's kind of starting to build there as well. 20 up now for Impact in the Renekton versus Shen matchup.
It is a good lead, but that said, it's okay. It's actually not that problematic for the Shen to be down a decent bit of CS like this. It only becomes a big problem if he can start smashing you and bullying you under your turret and taking turrets. Because Renekton's scaling is actually pretty awful, whereas Shen always is going to have a massive amount of use throughout the game. So Shen can continue to stay relevant, can continue to look for plays around the map, because that is more his purpose, whereas Renekton kind of has to smash lane.
See Jensen actually just committed his ultimate just to poke Froggen out a bit, but Ari does have some sustain built in with a passive. Good charm, actually. Going to get some poke back in. And Graves is hoping to bait someone, but looks like the dual lane's riding up for Echo Fox.
And you can see the respect that Jensen has to show to all this attack. He has to get the merc treads this early on.
Contract does have no flash, actually, so he's in a bit of trouble. Ball's good there as Jin now going to roam up and try and snipe somebody down. K eats 2. That's a third, fourth one coming. Stand United use for Lupa.
Ooh, that feels bad that you have to blow the Shen ultimate like that. That is a problem for Looper, because not only does he expend his playmaking ability, he expends it with the wave at his turret. So he actually loses a lot from that, and that is more the story. We talked about how Renekton has to smash lane. Now he's getting so much free time on the turret. He's getting a bigger CS and XP lead, and Looper does not have the threat of moving around the map. So C9 has free reign.
Another play again onto Jensen. Froggen does nail another time. Arcadian locks it down. They're just too good.
They are playing it so well. Froggen nailing the charms on the last 2 attempts, even with those Merc Treads. Not much they can do. That said, turret pressure, lane pressure is being cashed in on across the map for C9. They take out the bot lane, get the first turret, top lane turret very low. Echo Fox should be able to eventually get this trade, but they will have to stick around if they want to try to do it.
They need another wave. Sneaky doesn't have his ultimate, but the rest of Cloud9 are coming into that mid lane to cover for it.
Yep.
And the tower's going to stay standing for now. Jensen's going to walk back. Sneaky's going to get a little bit of CS. I mean, there's not much in it. That tower, there's a whole lot left. But Cloud9, the longer they can hold on to it, the better.
The one thing you kind of have to look at is this paying off for Echo Fox, right? They've gotten 3 kills on Jensen, but it's tied in farm, right? Is that enough of an advantage for the investment? Is this how they actually win the game? And I think, you know, it's tough because you can make the argument that, well, he'd be behind if they're not helping him and things like this, but they haven't gotten too massively ahead. Arcadian and Froggen certainly still have to continue to execute on these kills because they're actually down in gold.
Yeah, you can see Cloud9 up, mostly thanks to that first turret, about 500. Froggen is about 300 gold ahead, so not a huge lead at all for the mid lane, although Abyssal Scepter now finished means that he'll have a pretty good item. Contract getting jumped on, Froggen looking for the charm, flashes over the wall for it, but Contract burns his flash in response.
Quick flash out there from Contracts. A nice attempt at the play from Froggen, and you do get punished less as an Ahri for using playmaking summoners like that, simply because you have your ultimate to kind of make up for that. And Froggen's ultimate is almost back up. We have the Rengar ultimate back up. TP is back up on Shen. And look for them to make some plays here. They're actually trying to TP right down to bot lane. Impact trying to get that wave.
Trying to snare it up. Impact very tanky. Turret going to fall on the top lane as Impact still fighting it out. He gets the kill on the key in the 1v3 outplay.
What were they thinking? They had 1 minion and almost no damage to take down this Renekton. They give up the TP. They give up a kill.
And Cloud9 aren't done. Froggen does get the mid lane turret, but Cloud9 continue to push with 2 marksmen here. They are going to get 2 turrets as Contracts looks for the last bullet. And Cloud9 come up massive on that trade, although Echo Fox working on this outer turret, even though Impact got the kill.
Yeah, the big problem there is Keith is tanking the turret, right? You cannot have that happening. You need your armor stacking Shen to be tanking that turret so Keith can be free firing. And will they even get it? They will probably eventually take this down, but they're definitely way behind on the trade.
It just hurts, but it's enough. See how much health it has.
So look at the turret juggling here, and they basically just went on the play too early. The wave is getting cleared out, and they're like, oh crap, we gotta go now. Gate has to flash out. He's already taken so much damage. Now Keith is tanking the turret, and he's just gonna go down straight to the turret shot. So this is a very poorly executed dive from Echo Fox. They needed to wait for Shen to come through and then go for it, because if you're worried that the minion wave is getting cleared out, you're not actually accomplishing anything by tanking the turret earlier.
Yeah, and you know, a bit of a mess, but 3 turrets to 2 now for Cloud9. Echo Fox do make some trades here and there, but C9 still up 1,000 gold. Looking good for them. Blue buff going to go over to Jensen here. Make his lane feel a little bit better. And we'll see if Echo Fox can continue staying proactive with their Ahri, with their Rengar, and particularly with Shen having his ultimate back up as well.
Another dragon is picked up there for Echo Fox, so they will have that under their belt, a little something working for them, and that added speed is going to be nice, especially with the Rengar ultimate and the Ahri. These kind of champions that want to close the gap and make those plays, I think can be pretty helpful.
You can see Contracts trying to cut somebody off. It's actually Looper. Good snare there from Sneaky. Now immediately looks for the ultimate smoothies here as well. Looper doesn't have many places to get out to. Play back in, make sure he gets hit by the ulti. Spirit's Refuge down, but they should have plenty of CC left. Latin in for Sneaky to deliver the last few bullets, and that's going to be the kill. Goes to Contracts.
Yeah, and he was just trying to delay as long as he can for Echo Fox's push on the top side. He had already accepted his fate as soon as he didn't blow his summoner there. They're trying to make the trade. But C9 just seems to be a little bit ahead on all of these plays. As soon as Echo Fox stopped being proactive with the Rengar and the Ahri and the Shen, C9 has kind of moved around the map better than them and starting to bully them.
These are just uneven trades. I mean, tier 2s for outer turrets isn't something that Echo Fox really wants to be doing. And they might even lose the inner turret as well. Yeah, Cannon Minion wave is perfectly timed. There's a Rengar ulti. Submarine started, but Sneaky gonna get out. He takes the lance, and Contracts could be left alone. Trying to get out, heal there from Sneaky to try and get him in. The hook from Smoothie zones the rest, and Jensen's down as well.
Yeah, another trade there. Well won out from C9, and Not only that, but a little bit desperate, going for the 2v3 engage with Thresh Lantern available means they lose out on the trade and they lose their playmaking abilities.
Well, have to see if Echofox can kind of take a deep breath, calm things down a bit, and try and play the map a little cleaner. Cloud9 have just been on top of all these rotations. I mean, the gold lead isn't massive at all. 2,000 to 3,000 or so for Cloud9, but 5 turrets to 3 kind of tells you everything you need to know about how this first 20 minutes has gone.
And it's kind of felt like C9 had no right to get these advantageous trades with how well Echofox have been executing the dives in the mid lane. Feels like they should be the ones that are setting the pace, but because of C9 moving around the map, controlling the waves better, they get those advantages.
And I like this from Sneaky. Haven't seen that much Jin on 7.4, but Ghostblade feels pretty standard. Actually went for an Infinity Edge. Hard to say if that's just all the gold he's getting or if people are moving away from Edge of Night, but definitely cool to see Sneaky, who's always been on top of things, changing it up.
Yeah, this is something that I've actually heard him talking about on his stream. He was talking about the change of Edge of Night, making the cooldown longer. It feels very difficult to use now because it's not synced up with every minion wave. So it is certainly more situational. You have to use it at the right times. But Jin ulti opening up.
Kate, just trying to dodge the last few bullets. Keith actually eats the unfortunate end of that last shot. Arcadian looking for a play, but Cloud9 clumping together. And no play to be had there for Echofox.
No, not at all. Arcadian's still doing very well on the Rengar. He's up a lot in farm. He has a couple kills to his name, almost has a Black Cleaver available, so he's going to be getting that CDR going, which is very important for the Rengar to use those ultimates even more frequently, especially now that he has rank 2.
Well, it's been looking good, but it feels like the last few Rengar ultimates have not yielded kills for Echofox, which was the opposite of what was happening in the first 10 minutes. And again,
last couple haven't even yielded threat of kills.
Well, Impact now pushing down onto Lupa. This is a very long lane for Echofox to have to deal with. And Impact doesn't really have enough coverage, but he knows the rest of his team is shoving down mid. And Cloud9 are just trying to take over the map and should be able to get this out of turret for themselves. Echofox a little late to the defense, and that's going to go down.
Yeah, and you nailed it with the point. C9's already applying pressure elsewhere. So in that situation, even if Impact gets ganked, he doesn't really care because they're already on the turret mid lane. And that means that they would be free to get that. So that is so big about split pushing. If your team is already not pressuring, then you need the coverage. But if your team is pressuring very heavily and you get something even if they gank you, then you're fine. You don't need the vision as much.
Yeah, you can see Froggen trying to also create a wave of pressure in the top lane, but Jensen should go to answer that after shoving mid back in. C9 rotate down, clear out vision. Contracts takes the red buff, and they make sure they cover Impact's recall as everyone's going to go back to base. I mean, Froggen will get some chip damage done here, but that's just all it is, a little bit of damage.
Not too much going on for Froggen, and hasn't really been able to get much done, even though his lane opponent died 3 times in lane with those ganks. He's not really been able to push that into anything else. Echofox by no means is out of this game, obviously. Even though it is feeling like it's moving more and more into C9's favor, Echofox is relevant in the gold lead. They have Sivir plus Karma. They have a very strong late game team fight with that. That said, they still do need to keep executing on these Shen Rengar plays and looking for that around the map.
And it's just tough because Echofox can't afford to be as proactive as they would want to be because there's a giant mismatch as far as geography goes. So Cloud9 have done well to sort of play the map despite Echofox's good execution on ganks and plays like that. But we'll see if they can find the pick, or if C9 just make a mistake and Echofox are able to capitalize, because this game is well within touching distance for Fox, and one big fight around an objective, say the Ocean Drake that's up in 10 seconds, could yield a huge swing.
This game for C9 is really what you hope to see from teams when jungle pressure is applied unevenly. You hope that because all these people are going mid lane, your teammates will get something done elsewhere, right? And C9 really has been able to do that. Every time ultimates and abilities were committed on Jensen in the mid lane, top lane got some sort of an edge. Bot lane was able to get more of an edge. So they made up for it and turned it into a trade instead of just a disadvantage. And that is one thing that C9 I think is very, very good at.
Here comes the play from Echofox. Everybody zooming in. Sivir ultimate's already been popped, and Arcadian was looking for the flank. Karma Mantra Shield's going to speed everyone up, at Cloud9 will take the appropriate way out. Impact's going to get snared up, but he's straight onto gate instead. Now Froggen actually making a 1v4 play, but Arcadian's in with Lupa. Contract gets himself tossed it up, but the shockwave is going to keep them back. Double play from Smoothie, and Echofox just went too deep. Lupa's going to go down here as well, and Impact is now looking in for Froggen. Gate going to get tagged. Last bullet needed, does not get the snipers. Keith shields it.
Smoothie has flash. He can keep chasing with this if they want, but they may just go straight over to Baron. Looks like they're headed that way. 22 minutes in, but they are healthy. and want to force it.
And credit to Echo Fox for making the proactive play, but C9 respond in what looked like a pretty effortless attempt. Easily deflect the blow from Echo Fox, and now they're going to try and take this Baron down. Echo Fox, 3 to defend with here.
Yeah, I mean, Ari has no ultimate, Sivir has no ultimate. They can turn this around on Echo Fox very easily.
Froggen snared as well. They're just keeping him out of the pit. Everyone's getting slowed by Jin Trap. Baron is low, but they should have the smite to secure it. Contracts gets it. Smoothly locks down Gate. There's one as Contract leaves him for another. Flash hook on the Froggen's gonna now yet another kill for Cloud9.
Just such a big swing for Cloud9 here. They have now broken the game wide open, and this play was forced way too hard. If you look on the mini-map, you can see where Sivir, where Karma are. They are going in to essentially a 3v4 here. Then Impact comes over. The bot lane is still zoned out. It is now a 5v3, 5v2 essentially, because like the Ari had to jump back over the wall. The bot lane was never able to get involved, and that is not a fight that you can win against a good team.
Really well played there for Cloud9, and they did well to just stick on the Baron and pick off the stragglers as Echo Fox tried to stop the attempt. And we talked about the gold being pushed. Well, that's no longer the case. Yeah. 6,500 gold up for Cloud9 with a Baron buff for the next 2.5 minutes.
And an open inhibitor. I mean, the pressure that Cloud9 has had throughout the game is now paying off big time. And it's felt like Echo Fox has just been playing with a lot of desperation despite a really good start. They just felt like they did not have confidence in their ability to play the game in a more standard way. And C9 held on, weathered the storm, and are now in full control. And
Echo Fox are a team that are always willing to make the aggressive play and go for high risk, high reward. But unfortunately, when it doesn't work out, it costs you a lot. And now Cloud9 are in prime position to do real damage to these inhibitors. You already mentioned the bottom lane is still open from the play earlier. It looks like Impact is going to do his job and get the Baron-empowered minions pushing towards top lane.
Yeah, they're just trying to create that pressure. Bot lane is already going to be pushing for them, so that's why they're not heading down there. They're going to pressure mid and top and force someone to try to go down to answer. But it looks like Rengar is looking to make a play. See if he can pull it off. He's coming around behind.
Ulti from Sneaky's already getting poked down, but good shields from Gate actually going to prevent that. Arcadian straight in with Looper again. Jensen needs to line up the shockwave. Lands on the Looper for the snare after Jinjabu, and here comes Impact as Contract takes down the Shen. Arcadian going to get stunned up by Impact. Shockwave's going to miss. Arcadian flashed out, but they're going to keep chasing on Cloud9. Don't find another, but they'll take the 1 kill.
Take the 1 kill, absorb the ultimates. Now not much threat of an engage at all from Echo Fox, and Cloud9 can simply walk this in to what should be an easy inhibitor.
Still got the bottom wave open as well, so the timing should work out nicely. So they take mid, and then bottom lane is perfectly positioned to get another inhibitor. So Cloud9 looking for the strong double play, and that tower melts to the Baron-empowered minions.
Yeah, that one's gone. They're going to get at least the 2. Probably will back off, reset, spend up all the gold that they have now collected. This is just a monumental lead.
Got a lot of gold in those pockets, but Echo Fox, no, they can't really do too much here. And if they make a mistake, they'll lose the game with Cloud9 in their base. So they smartly let Cloud9 back away and spend their gold, but it's looking rough right now as Cloud9 are 8,500 gold ahead.
Yeah, it's hard to see how Echo Fox gets back into this now. The engages are very telegraphed, and one of the things that Impact is doing so well in these fights that can be very easily overlooked is the zoning of the bottom lane. He zones these guys out so sweet. The Ari, the Rengar, and Shen are all flying in. And then Impact just goes and stands in between the bot lane and the rest of his team, essentially creating a 4v3 or 5v3 situation. He did it in the topside fight. He did it again there.
And Impact does feel like looking a little more comfortable. Week and a half off or so looks to have helped, as Cloud9 are just going to slowly saunter up to top lane and try and take the last inhib down. They know that Echo Fox have to make some sort of desperate play. It looks a little like this. Impact's just going to face check. He's not too afraid. He finds 2. He's like, all right, we'll have a fight. And look at Froggen. He's also looking for the flank. Look on the Sneaky. Good gank there by Froggen. But C9 is going to keep moving forward. Blast Cone gets 2 out, though, and Echo Fox, a clean kill.
Yeah, nice play there from Froggen. Gate is caught in the
wrong
neighborhood.
I said it was a clean kill. I may have lied. Gate's going to try and buy as much time as he can, but Jensen's in. That's the flash out from Gate. Impact is still getting away, pushing, so Cloud9 can kind of afford to chase here, but Gate's going to make his great escape out towards the base, and Jensen really wants his kill. Pops the Ghost. He's going to try and run down the Karma. Jensen's still not giving up. He's going to W his way in. He's got plenty of mana with the blue buff.
It's like a pride thing at this point. He's like, you're not getting away.
Yep, and Gates run away, and Jensen, I think he's given up.
Oh, man, that's actually hilarious how much time that bought them. Pretty good job by Gate, you gotta say. Contract's even ulted backwards to try to catch back up to him there. But here's the pick again. And I mean, the initial play not really looking like it works, but then Froggen over the side, nails the charm, gets the execution, and Echo Fox are able to get that kill and buy themselves some time, which is really what they're trying to do. They need time for Key to scale up and become relevant. He needs at least the IE to really start threatening more of the members in these fights.
Well, another Drake up now. Cloud9 should pick that one up for not quite free. Did a lot of work to get here, but uncontested certainly. Echo Fox don't really fancy poking their heads out of their base right now. And again, they really just left reacting to the next play from Cloud9. Baron up again in 1:50. So if the game doesn't end in the next few minutes, Cloud9 always have the option to fall back towards Baron, but they're going to do the basic thing here, but the smart thing, move themselves towards top lane and look to finish off that last inhibitor.
Yeah, exactly. All the waves will be pushing. This time they're playing it a lot more safely, though. They're doing their due diligence around this top side, walking in as a squad, making sure that they're not going to get picked off. And now that they have full vision control in this side of the jungle, you really cannot get flanked as Cloud9. So they push up to the turret, and they will be able to begin to threaten this final inhibitor turret.
Yep, just need some patience here for Cloud9. Looking very clean on the map today. It feels like they have kind of all the rotations, all that stuff planned out and drilled out.
It's been a really clean game. I mean, the fact that your mid laner can get killed 3 times in lane and it can still feel like you're winning the whole game is pretty impressive.
Jensen certainly has had some impactful plays. And again, Cloud9 is kind of waiting for the minion wave to move in. Sneaky's got plenty of poke. Rapid fire cannon bullet actually gonna tag the turret there for a bit of poke damage. And again, Cloud9 just waiting for an opportunity, whether it's a minion wave that's coming through bottom lane, whether it's someone out of position, or whether they just kind of complete the siege slowly but surely, or even fall back to the Baron, which is I think what they're doing now. 30 seconds till that's up. Already have swept out the vision, so they'll get their trinkets down, sweep it on the extra vision, and then force Echo Fox to come towards them.
And the advantage of keeping a push going like this on the top side is you know for a fact no one from Echo Fox has gotten out to reclaim any vision. They have not been able to get any wards down in that quadrant whatsoever, so C9 can very easily bait, they can very easily try to rush the Baron. They have essentially every option, and Impact will continue to keep pressure on the bot side. And Echo Fox, I mean, look how dark that map is.
I mean, can't see too many wards, certainly not on the left side.
They can see their own red buff.
Yep, well that's good. Not great when C9 threatening for a Baron or camping in a brush. Is Impact actually looking for a flank 1v4? Probably not.
He wanted to spot them out, so he sees that they're there, they're retreating towards their base. C9 can then make a more informed decision on what they want to do, and it looks like they don't want to risk any sort of Baron rush on the chance that Acadian could smite steal it, and they're going to play it a little bit more safely. But now heading over to that Baron.
Yeah, they kind of counted out the trinkets. Impact is providing a bit of bait, and now they know they're going to have to run over there. Cloud9 started it up, but they pull away immediately with the threat of Rengar ultimate. And again, C9 just reset the situation. Impact, as caught as a Renekton can be, flashes out of the way. Echo Fox might actually fancy a chase on this. Impact still 1v4, and now they're just going to go back in for it. Froggen's going to get ulted on, but Hondrax is trying to get a bit more damage in. Keith, slowed on the front line, looked a little dangerous.
This is actually a pretty decent job by Echo Fox. I mean, they hold on with all their inhibitors.
Oh, Froggen, good flash, gets himself out from under the Jhin snare. Contract's going to miss that ultimate. But Cloud9 just going to go back to it here. I mean, Froggen just doesn't have health to play with.
I mean, that force from Froggen was a little bit too much. They'd actually stalled out the Baron, allowed themselves that time to get everything back, and now Froggen kind of throws it away with that play. Tried to get too much. C9 right onto the Baron.
All right, smites are up for the junglers, so Cloud9 don't want to make this too risky. They're going to try and tank it as long as they can and continually threaten it, but Arcadia might just move in for a steal.
Remember, he doesn't have his ultimate quite yet, so he would have to flash in.
Impact back in again. They want Arcadia. They need to kill the jungler, but aren't going to get it just yet. Looper puts up the refuge and starts soaking damage. Keith in a good spot. Great flash out of the shockwave, but Contract leaps into action straight forward as Looper is on the back end trying to get out. Sneaky almost dying to the Baron. Forced to burn the heal and the locket.
Yeah, Rengar ultimate is back up, and Ahri is back in position, so Echo Fox fight off the Baron, playing very well around this objective. Pretty impressive stuff from Echo Fox. 6 minutes ago, give up both their inhibitors. Baron's on the table. They defend everything.
I mean, Cloud9, we saw they had complete control of the area, but maybe just didn't pick the right way to execute on that Baron. Or Echo Fox just straight up played it well to make sure Cloud9 couldn't take it. And now their inhibitors are back up. They've gotten a bit of extra gold, some time to farm and get their items. Cloud9 are going to go back to this Baron. No, they still have a lead, but it just doesn't feel nearly as safe as it did a few minutes ago.
And they don't have the pressure in the other lanes now because the inhibitors have respawned. And I think it's a little bit of both. Echo Fox played extremely well, But C9 also wasn't to make the call to, they weren't willing to make the call to do the immediate rush on the Baron, right? If as soon as the Baron spawned, they started up, they likely could have gotten it, but they weren't willing to make that risky play.
Instead, looking for a pick, trying to get a team fight started that they knew they could win.
Exactly, they want the guaranteed play.
Well, instead, they get nothing.
Yep.
Except a reset on the situation. Gonna take the Scuttle Crab here again. They've got all this vision. So Echo Fox are going to be put into the same situation once again, but Looper with both globals able to apply side lane pressure, which is what they didn't have before. Yeah,
so that is the big difference in the situations now, is that they are the ones applying the side lane pressure. Impact has no TP. Looper has his ultimate and his TP. Echo Fox need to track this so they see them on that Baron. We'll have to go now because C9 could just rush us down.
Arcadian's actually already in. I think he's going to try and steal it. He gets it, but Contracts gets the Baron. Froggen, though, zoning the rest out. His Impact and Contract soaking damage. Sneaky. Let's rip the ulti as Smoothie zones Froggen off to the left. Now Looper getting snared up there as Contract gets up under Arcadian. It's a bit of a chaotic fight, but Smoothie needs to charm in some damage from the Ahri. Looper barely gets out on the right-hand side of the Baron, and Cloud9 get the Baron and no one dies.
No one dies at all, which is great for Cloud9, picking up that global objective. And Keith is just struggling to get involved enough in these fights. He did not have his flash there, could not really go aggressive and actually get much done.
And you can see he's got 3 items. He's building in towards his 4th, but no Infinity Edge is a little rough for Sivir. Keith, Sivir scales extremely well, but can need to kind of build up. Yeah. That's
really the biggest thing is you have an Orianna ball that's zoning you out, you have the threat of all the CC, and you have so many damage threats too. So even though he was able to bounce out a decent amount of ricochet damage, could not get quite what he wanted to.
Well, good take here from Echo Fox. They'll trade essentially the Baron for the Ocean Drake. Now Elder Dragon will be ready to spawn if we make it that far in this one. Cloud9 though, again, they've got plenty of work to get done again with their second Baron buff. Had a almost 4,000 gold Baron power play on the first one. We'll see if they can end the game with this one.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely want to at least get in there and get those inhibitors, but Renekton is falling off the cliff about now. Renekton stops being nearly as relevant. The Shen gets better and better and better from here on out. So the longer Echo Fox hold on with the Sivir, with the Shen, I think they do get more advantages. But this is the key Baron that they need to hold on to kind of reach those super late game stages, because their Sivir doesn't even have an IE yet.
Well, defensive claw from Echo Fox kind of got the game to this position. C9, I think, just going to band together and one by one take down the inhibs. Ooh, Shockwave not going to hit onto Keith. And now Echo Fox leap into action.
Yeah, that's the go trigger. I mean, no Shockwave there. They're going to look for the fight.
Looper looking for the backline. Impact tanking up as much as he can. Ball back on him. He's awfully tanky with the help of Jensen. And now Looper going to get dove on. Damage is really good actually up from Jin. And Sneaky looking for a snipe. They need to get a couple here. Last bullet, where's it going? Hits Gabe, but it's not that much damage. Cloud9 barely getting this inhibitor as they do finally take it in mid lane.
Echo Fox is holding on very, very well in these fights, and as the splashes come back up for Keith and for Froggen, they can start to get more aggressive.
Froggen, what a beast! Takes down Jensen over the wall.
That's the end of the Baron push. I mean, C9's not going to get much more from this, and they've got to be careful.
Froggen's actually still going. 3-man blast cone. Going to disengage for Cloud9.
Ringer ults up.
Around, but it's a little too far forward. Forced to burn the heal for a bit of extra speed, but here comes Arcadian. Submarines Looper in and goes straight for the throat. They want to take down the other carry. Smoothie, though, going to get caught up in the mess, and he falls down to Arcadian. And they're still going. Arcadian wants it. Sneaky has to blast going back to his own base now. And Echo Fox have just fought so well at every turn. Not giving this one up for free. Taunt onto Contracts will continue the play. Looper pretty tanky, but now Sneaky's back in the mix. Looper going to go down, I think, as Impact takes him out. Good jump from Froggen. Here's Keith. Just doesn't do enough damage to the tanks just yet.
I mean, Looper just completely isolated himself there. He went on a solo mission and throws away their advantage.
Contracts needs a little more. Impact leaping forward as Contracts gets the last bullet. Impact still tanky as Sneaky's trying to take down the carries. He wants to kill Froggen in revenge for Jensen, but will disengage that situation is Echo Fox are really fighting for this one.
They really are. They just keep feeling like they make the right play and then they overreach just a bit. And that overreach was from Looper there, causing him to go down, Acadian to go down right after that. They had held on. They could just back off. Instead, they try to go for a little bit more. Either way, still alive and only lost one inhibitor to that Baron. Not too bad.
Yep, and bought a lot of time as well, as they will respawn. Impact straight over the wall.
And this is the problem, right? Now the extra respawn timers are causing them to lose the second inhibitor. So that is pretty rough, as Baron is going to be respawning eventually.
Cloud9 all make it down, but can only really get this. They have to go back and deal with the minion wave that's threatening their tier 2 turret in bottom lane. No major objectives to take just yet either, so Cloud9 will, again, take the bottom lane inhibitor for the second time this game, but Echo Fox are making this very difficult. Defending well, keeping sidewaves in favorable positions, and making proactive plays where appropriate. Sure, they're also overextending and costing them more than just what they're getting, but certainly mentality is correct here for Echo Fox, given how far behind they were. I mean, the gold lead is still good for Cloud9, but that's starting to matter less and less, and I think we're going to have to watch Keith here. When does he finish that 4th and 5th damage item?
Yeah, and that is really going to be the big story, I think, for Echo Fox, because they have showed a lot of poise, some very strong team fighting, but it's very problematic to keep giving up these inhibitors. They had actually successfully defended. One mid lane inhibitor is not a big problem, but when you lose the 2 and it's your bottom, the furthest away from the lane that you now need to defend, it's so much harder to hold on. And if you lose 3, it's usually lights out. Yep,
you can see Sneaky, Contracts, and Smoothie all grouping up to get this wave pushing in the right direction for Cloud9. And Made Buff will be spawning at a minute 40, so Dragon and Elder Dragon and Baron will be on the table at the same time. Both teams with 2 Drakes, so things feeling good as far as that buff goes, but I think Baron might be the big prize here for both these teams. Echo Fox would love to take one away from Cloud9.
Yeah, they certainly would, even if it's just to delay the game that much more. Both teams always are going to have the late game potential in team fights, though. I think Echo Fox probably is getting some more from the scaling, but that said, Orianna at 6 items has potential to solo win a team fight, and that's always going to be true. So it's not like C9 has poor late game scaling. I just think that I favor the Shen in the late game, the Sivir over the Jhin in the late game, things like that.
Well, certainly the game is getting to a big point of tension. We're almost 40 minutes through this game that looked like it was going to end maybe 10, 15 minutes ago in Cloud9's favor, but Echo Fox, they've kind of played through the mud and looking at least in position to contest this game, which did not look possible when those 2 inhibitors first went down.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be a pre-30-minute win for Cloud9. Xbox has held on very well. They certainly do not want to give up any easy wins against Cloud9. Both these teams coming off some pretty rough weeks, and important for them to be able to bounce back.
Yep, I have to say, impressed with Echo Fox's defensive play. It's not something we usually credit them for. They're the team that goes hard and either that wins them or loses them the game. And they haven't backed down in a lot of situations where they maybe could have played a bit more tempered, but they've done well to get themselves to the spot. And Keith is now done with that Infinity Edge, so we were looking for that 4th damage item. Sivir scaling is now online. The 500 CS joke, well, not a joke anymore, although it only has 400.
Yeah, I mean, the crit plus the armor pen, that's what you need to start shredding these tanks, and we'll see. C9's looking for the play.
Surprise! Here's a Jhin ulti. Gate is the target. Oh, good play from Smoothie. Hook's not going to connect. It just hits Keith, as does the last bullet, but I think a good spell shield saved him there.
And Echo Fox was confident they could get out because you don't even see Looper's ultimate get used. He stays bot lane. That means he still is going to have the global available to threaten this fight if they go for Baron.
Cadian pops his ultimate again. Spies Sneaky, which is a pretty good target.
He's basically just trying to see if they were starting the Baron, if they were rushing onto it. They were not, so he does just back off. That means Cadian won't have his ultimate for about a minute or so.
And Cloud9 are being patient because they have a massive top lane wave helping them out here, although they now have to make a decision about what they want to do. Looks like they've tried to find a pick, but Echo Fox managed to stick together as 4. Now Loop is dealing with this problem, and that wave just evaporates under the Tiamat Shen. I mean, Cloud9 have 2 big objectives to try and go for her, and they need to pick correctly here.
Yeah, it's tough. They didn't have the confidence to rush it when they were much further ahead earlier, and now they're starting it up. We'll see if Echo Fox can respond in time.
Where's that Cadian? Oh, he's straight in! Gonna get snared up, though. Horse life from Smoothie, that could be the game! 5v4, but Frogman's gonna try and save the back end of the fight. Redemption's gonna heal up Jensen. Cloud9 still got to fight here. Keith does so much work if he gets into position. And
look
now
at the ricochets onto the back line.
Could be problems there. Impact gets out. And Sneaky and Jensen are so low.
And that is all Sivir damage.
Contracts. Tries to get back in. Almost has enough. Jim bullets. Keith's going to block the rest of them. And C9 again left without a Baron.
The Nexus turrets are under threat, though. That should be going down. And C9 critically did lose quite a bit of health, so Echo Fox can hope that they won't be able to make the move back to Baron, but they're going to TP back in. They will be trying to force this. Looper's TPing in as well.
It's a long play for this Baron. But Echo Fox are going to go
They
into
are
defend once
low.
more. Here comes Lupa, dives straight in, gets a double taunt into Sneaky, and onto Jensen. He just needs to leap into action. Contracts gets the Baron, and Impact turns out the dual lane of Echo Fox, but Lupa is still fighting it out, and now Impact is starting to feel the pain. Keith going to try and finish off the kill, but the Lantern is there.
Be careful of the ball over the wall there from Jensen.
Doesn't take it. Jensen instead defends Impact, and Keith is not caught out on kind of the wrong side. Gate's still here, though. They're going to go for it. Siva pops the ultimate. And they just want to kill here. Looking to chase down Contracts, perhaps, but a little too much on that play.
Inhibitors are back for Echo Fox, though. They lose the Baron. They lose a Nexus turret. Elder on the table for C9. They really want to get this. They're struggling to close out the game, and certainly do not want to give over this Elder Dragon to Echo Fox. Looper is dead for 25 seconds. Will have the ultimate when he respawns, though. We'll see if C9 can make a move.
Cadian again with a bit of help of Gate. He's so fast. He finds Contracts. Actually does it onto Impact. Doesn't want to get hooked. Good flash. Gets his way out of it, but Impact is still chasing. Blast cones towards Echo Fox.
Was that a misclick? I mean, why would you even want to jump in there?
Wanted to try and find a pick. Froggen actually pressuring mid lane, so maybe Arcadian just is going to try a steal, but he doesn't have anywhere to get over the wall with no flash and no ultimate. So that's going to be Elder Dragon over to Cloud9.
And that essentially means Echo Fox will lose at least their 2 inhibitors once again. And that is the call that they have made because Acadian had no ult, even though Looper was up with the Stand United. If you don't fight at the Elder, I don't think you fight at either of your open inhibitors.
Well, Cloud9 took a lot of work to get it, but they did take the Baron without losing too much. And now with the Elder Dragon, should be poised to finally close out this game.
I mean, they're going to look for it, right? And where do you pull the trigger as Echo Fox? Because with only 1 Nexus turret, C9 doesn't even have to get the 3rd inhibitor. They can take down 2, and they could potentially threaten to just go straight up the middle and end the game with the Elder.
Gonna have to wait for a winning wave, and bottom lane is not pushing in their favor. Acadian again pops the ultimate. Looper off to the flank, just above the rest of Cloud9. They get 2 inhibs, but they're gonna back away from it. Echo Fox have done a really good job managing side waves here, and Cloud9 are getting run around even when they have double major buffs.
Yeah, I mean, so much of it is, even though Echo Fox keeps hanging on, they've never been able to take away or stop one of the major globals, right? Every Baron objective has gone over to C9. Now the Elder has gone over to C9, and that has netted them these inhibitors time and time again, but they have not been able to fully close it out. And these guys are getting further and further along in their item builds. I mean, the gold leader starts to matter less and less.
Yeah, we have to keep looking at Keith. I mean, Cloud9 are almost 10,000 gold behind, but Keith is almost full build. Froggen is getting close there as well, only has a slot to go in. Everyone from Fox has 4, except for the support. Gate only sitting at 3 items there, so if they can find a pick again. Sneaky goes down to Froggen.
Got deleted.
Big wraparound play from Froggen.
They're going to keep chasing Chen ults coming in. They want this.
Froggen again over the side, looking to try and cut them down. Good taunt there on the Contracts. Darius Gage might keep him alive. He ults himself out to safety. Smoothie puts up the box, hooking onto
Impact's
Lupa.
behind.
Impact now with a big flank, but Gate's going to keep him down. Jensen takes out Lupa, and now Impact is going to go straight in for it, but Acadian wants to blow some people up. Still fighting as best he can, but Jensen has the double. And now Keith is looking to go down. He pops the spell shield, but C9 going to chase in. Impact, no Contracts, gets that kill.
Echo Fox bungled that fight, and that should be it for C9. They should be able to walk down mid. I don't see them defending against this Baron Elder push with only 2 members up.
Time and time again, Froggen makes play after play to pick a carry, but there is not much left to defend here for Echo Fox. Cloud9, with 3 members dead for at least 30 seconds, Cloud9 are going to try and end this one.
Looks like they're going to be successful. Pace 3, Cloud9 finally look like they've done it.
Froggen again looking for something, but he's just going to get tied up by Smoothie. Nexus is exposed, and Cloud9 just going to put the final shots in, taking game 1 over Echo Fox.
Whew. So they finish it off, but that was a much more hotly contested game than Cloud9 would have expected 25 minutes in when they killed those inhibitors off for the first time.
Yep, welcome to those who may be joining us for what would be our second game, except that the game went 15 minutes longer than expected. I mean, honestly, if you had looked at the first 25 minutes of that game and said, all right, this game's over, I'm going to go grab a drink, you know, do something else, and then come back to watch the next one, you could probably be forgiven. Instead, Echo Fox put up a very good fight, but Cloud9 still closed it out.
Yeah, they're still able to close it out, and I mean, Echo Fox had so many great moments that game, but it felt like they just kept falling a little bit short. They make a great play, and then they overreach and give something away. when they could have gotten a Baron, they could have gotten a Dragon, when they could have done these things, it felt like they always wanted too much. They get a kill on Sneaky, but no, let's go for the team fight still into the Elder Dragon. They force it into a choke. Orianna controls it. They lose the team fight. They lose the game. It always felt like they wanted one thing too much.
Yeah, and it almost felt like the opposite for Cloud9 where, you know, they had everything set up. They just need to do the simple thing and kind of make the next step. And then just didn't pull the trigger immediately. They did so well to build that advantage, and once they finally had it, they just didn't want to make the last step.
I think, if anything, that's the criticism for Cloud9 this game. They looked like they were playing scared. Coming off an 0-2 week, maybe they are.
Well, Echo Fox, pretty scary-looking team, but to break down that win from Cloud9, let's send it over to Riv and the analysts.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. And starting things off, just to say about this game, it was C9s, it was Echo Fox, it was C9s, it was Echo Foxes. What do we think about just how it ended overall?
I mean, I feel so bad for Froggen. I feel like Froggen won them this, like, Echo Fox's game 3 separate times. He wins the early game off all of his picks on Jensen. He wins the game in the mid game by getting a pick onto Jensen again to give Keith time to stall it to carry the game. And then he wins them the game the 3rd time in the late game, picking Sneaky in a team fight. And it's just, like, so sad that he didn't win this game with how well he was playing.
Absolutely. You saw First Blood as well going that way. Froggen getting a few kills on Jensen in the mid lane with the help of Acadian. What were your thoughts, Gara?
I thought Acadian played the early game really well. Like, they had the really clean plan, which was camp the shit out of Jensen. Okay, so Jensen just gets kept down the entire game. They almost get the first tower. The problem is, Gate and Keith didn't play bot lane well enough. What they should have done is they should have just conceded lane. Who cares if they're 20 CS behind? As long as they don't push up and lose first tower, Echo Fox is in the driver's seat.
And just to touch on that point, this was something we were talking about with Freeze last night on the alt stream, was like, in the current meta, sometimes your bot lane job is just to sit there and lose slightly. You can totally let your team carry. And that's the situation as Sivir, where if you don't lose your bot turret, you're going to get mid lane turrets soon. Like, you've been destroying Jensen in lane. Once you have that mid turret, opens the map up for R to get side roams off. And the fact that they lost the first turret and then started losing those turret trades really hurt Froggen's ability to get stuff done.
And we do see our first replay coming up 22 minutes in here. Cloud9 turning the engage onto Fox. And this was the one where he kind of, I believe Azale was saying, Fox looked desperate after having that bot lane lose. Froggen was trying to carry. They kept trying to go for these fights.
I think this is one of the few times you might be able to criticize Froggen. He jumped back over the wall as opposed to jumping to the right. If he jumps right there behind the Rengar in his front line, he's actually still in a good position to contribute to the fight. Slight mistake there, but ultimately Ori still was able to flash out, so they couldn't actually blow her up. And then once she was over the wall, it's really hard to win.
And I think we should say something about the game where we're always criticizing Froggen because we're not even considering Keith as an option to carry the game. Like, Keith had this game in the bag multiple times. You look at he has 100 CS on top of the enemy AD. He's closing in on a 5-6 item time. They built Sterix, so they don't have that much armor to deal with the Sivir, and Sivir plus their front line, both Shen as well as the Rengar, can't team fight well enough to be able to get damage out.
Right. I mean, I think you can criticize the front line as well. I mean, there are a number of times where they just dove in and died at really bad times. And when you just have the enemy team having a Renekton and you have this 400 CS Sivir with 4 items, you can play a little bit more front to back, even though your team comp does have good dive. And I think a lot of those decisions really hurt Keith's ability to carry, though I don't think Keith did enough either.
I mean, in ways, we almost saw Cloud9 playing scared. You usually see that coming from a Rengar in a game. He's going to come from somewhere, he's going to come and pick you off. But like you said, that was coming from Froggen. So you have 2 of those threats that the AD carry somewhat gets to hide behind them diving in, but we still saw Keith on the back line, afraid to go in, afraid to attack with that damage.
Yeah, and I think for C9, I understand why they were playing a little bit scared. I mean, you got blown up by Froggen like 4 or 5 times over the course of that game. You might be a little gun shy at that point because you don't know where he is. And even like the last, fight of the game, he was still making those kind of plays.
All right, let's bring that one up. 45 minutes in. This one going long haul here. The 3-for-1 for Cloud9 in the team fight.
As it starts off, Froggen gets the miracle pick. It's a 4v5 Sivir. Has almost 6 full items. How do they lose this fight? Watch the front line from Acadian and Looper. They go in, they don't go in at the same time. Keith doesn't walk up. No one follows up Looper. Looper just takes free damage. Keith is so scared of the Oriole right now. And now Impact makes his play from the back line. Impact essentially out front lines both the front line for Fox right here, and then the game's just over.
Yeah, and I mean, the Ori ball is something you have to be scared of, but you're so conscious of it at that point that that's all you really need to be scared of. You think Keith can play a little bit more aggressive, assuming he has spell shield up, and I know he has his flash up, so you can at least flash the Ori ball. So I think not going in with Shen, but also Acadian wasn't there, like you said. It was a very disjointed fight by the front line.
And this is a situation where they're behind 8k gold, and Froggen gets the pick on in a way that you can't even account for. It's like something that you're just like, oh my god, he did it. You know, this is our chance, and they flubbed it.
Right, you expect the Sivir activation, the rushdown comp, and the rest of Cloud9 to disappear. Well, honors for that game is going over to Impact for player of the game, biggest effect in the team fights. Also, some of the Baron calls he did to disrupt what was going on there for Echo Fox inside, and really just give Cloud9 the upper hand in a lot of those fights by zoning out Keith.
I was really impressed, actually. Like I said in my analysis, Impact, I thought, like, out front lined both the front line from Echo Fox. Like, by himself, one Renekton did more than Shen and Rengar. I think that it just speaks volumes about how he was able to control the pace of the fight and how he was able to push up pressure to the backline and get out.
And it was over the course of the whole game, too. He had that really important interrupt on Shen, which let the C9 bot lane start snowballing through there. And then he had the time he survived into the turret, also misplayed by Echo Fox, but he punished it very well. That gives them the huge tempo advantage, which gave them the turret lead. So a lot of the plays you can look at and see that they're mostly off the back of Impact.
All right, well, both teams getting their feet wet after a little bit of a break here in day 2 of week 6. We're going to step away for a quick break, but when we come back, it's game 2 between Cloud9 and Echo Fox. Stay with us. You're watching the North American LCS.